terrorize the jam like troops in Pakistan. Swinging through your town like your neighborhood Spider-Man. You don't stop.
Came out of that movie going, I want to know more about that character.
You want the wow factor, but it's not just stuff blowing up. It definitely is a character piece.
What happens now determines what happens to the rest of the world.
Stan Lee and Jack Kirby created Black Panther in the early 60s, and he's been a staple of Marvel Comics 50 plus years.
He's an interesting character that is going to be such a different thing for the audience on the screen. I couldn't see the Black Panther living on a side street in New York. I love the idea of a superhero who lives in Africa.
He has to look out for an entire nation. That's a responsibility that other superheroes don't commonly have.
Even though he's the head of a tribe, he's a hell of a lot more than that. As his powers begin to unfold, that will be a lot of fun.
Don't freeze.
I never freeze.
I'm super excited about an African king who's also strong enough, fast enough, smart enough to do some of the things that T'Challa's gonna do in this script.
There's something very special about him.
People can see a superhero in a different light, different worldview.
One particular character, and that is Black Panther. Okay. Can I ask a tough question here?
Yeah.
There is talk on the internet about recasting T'Challa.
Right.
There are a lot of people that want to see the story, of course, of Black Panther, but specifically of T'Challa go on because there's so much that the character has left. I have been on record in my support of recasting the role, but obviously, with how close the audience feels, how close fandom, how close the culture feels to our dearly departed brother Chadwick Boseman, it's a hard decision to make. What are the chances we see the character of T'Challa in the MCU moving forward? And what is it like having to balance loyalty to a fan base and to a performer as regal and elegant as Chadwick Boseman, along with the future of that franchise, that character, and of Wakanda?
Yeah. It's a great question. I'm not hedging my bets. I'm being quite honest.
Uh-huh.
You will not see T'Challa in the MCU 616 universe. We couldn't do it. I mean, I will say when Chad passed, it was a real conversation we had with Coogler about what do we do? And it was a fast conversation. It wasn't weeks, it was minutes of, we have to figure out how to move this franchise on without that character, because I think we all feel so much of T'Challa in the MCU on the screen, not in comics, right? Is tied to Chadwick's performance, is what he brought to that role, both on and off screen, I would argue. So as hard as it is narratively to figure out what to do, because it's a big hole, at no point did we consider recasting him. So the challenge for Black Panther Wakanda Forever is telling a story without T'Challa. And I think it's a challenge we're up for, and obviously we're in the middle of it and we're figuring it out. And it's so far, I think what we're getting is great. But the challenge of the movie, I think, is to entertain people, but there will be a level of, I think, catharsis in people coming back to this universe without that guy, because that guy and that universe, to me, are one and the same. So as filmmakers and storytellers, you have to figure out how people are going to feel going into your movie and what you want that movie to say about that guy who's not going to be in your movie.
Yo, welcome to GAB'S Hip Hop Comic Book Shop. I'm your host, Gab, chilling today with my homeboy Theo B. And you know this whole recast T'Challa or else movement, we on it real heavy. Theo, what's up?
What's going on, Gab? What's going on, man? Glad to be with you today, man. Glad to be.
Hey, man, always a pleasure to have you on, bro. You know, we chop it up daily. You know, we
Yes,
chop
sir.
it up daily. We do this all day long. Y'all just getting 5 minutes of what me and my brother do all the time. But check this out, man. It was important to me to have that clip of Kevin Feige and Stan Lee, two white gentlemen, thinking and speaking so highly of T'Challa. And the irony in the whole thing is that two black brothers want to kill T'Challa. How crazy is that to you, bro?
Well, I mean, I could say it was crazy if I just didn't look at things that go on in the world today. Like, for instance, if we think about this, I always tell people all the time, it's a matter of just having Stockholm syndrome. You know what I'm saying? So you got, I mean, if we talking about Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, let's look at who we talking about. Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. Stan Lee said he had friends that were not white, and he wanted to have a hero that represented them. He said this. It's out his own mouth.
Exactly.
And he created that hero. You know, Jack Kirby came along. You know, he put the touches on the hero and everything like that. They weren't sure whether they wanted to do a mask, no mask. They finally settled on having a full mask. And then the reason for the full mask, a lot of people don't understand, is because they were concerned about how the character would be received down south. If the character,
exactly.
So
white comic book readers, exactly.
Exactly. So then you had these brothers, and I'm like this. I've been a nerd my whole life. You know, I get it. You know, the cool kids are in on it now. But Kevin Feige said something, and Nate Moore said something. And he said this, and it's iconic. He said iconic. Well, okay, Chadwick Boseman is an iconic actor, and I was going to talk about this when I was going to do a video later on today, but we definitely get this out of the way right now. Chadwick Boseman is an iconic actor, but T'Challa, Black Panther, has been an iconic character since the 60s. So when you got Nate Moore,
50 years.
Yes. So when you have Nate Moore making his statement about the two are one, then you really never had any respect for T'Challa. Nate Moore never put the iconic status on T'Challa that Stan Lee did. He sees T'Challa, he and Ryan Coogler see T'Challa as nothing more than another disposable character. They shouldn't be in charge of this project. They shouldn't be in charge of this project.
You know,
all kinfolk ain't skinfolk, and just because they look like me don't mean they realize what's important to me. They need to be dismissed. Bob Popchek, who is the Disney CEO, needs to dismiss both of those individuals from the project or have that movie reshot with T'Challa in it.
You know, it's just a lack of respect. You know, supply and demand. You know, fast food chains, burgers used to come a certain way. The way you ordered it, the way it came. If you didn't want pickles on your burger, you would pick them off in the parking lot and throw them out the window. But then Burger King came with have it your way. And that's pretty much the philosophy of most retailers. You know, the customer's right. Give the customer what they ask for. You had backlash over several movie projects that came out over the last few months. People didn't like Black Widow because of the Taskmaster situation. And all of these situations Marvel has promised to rectify. But for some reason, the Black Panther fan base and the whole recast T'Challa movement is falling on deaf ears. They're so blatant, they're so brash, they're so bold, and they speak with so much conviction on how recasting T'Challa is off the table. But us, as the consumer who spends our money, who put $1.5 billion in that last Black Panther movie, we have much say so, and it's time we flex our muscle.
And
Bro,
that's what we got to know. We got to know, you know, he said what he had to say, talking about basically him and Ryan decided in a matter of minutes. You don't get to make that call. You don't get to make that call, and it's high past time that we as a people understood. And when I say we as a people, that's we as Black people, we as comic book fans understand that, you know what? No, we have some say-so in this too. So you're gonna revisit this, and you're going to do right. That's the only solution is you're going to do right.
Hey, bro, we ain't going to beat them in the head. We need all of you guys to reach out. Go ahead and give that exec over Kevin Feige's head, who's already upset with Kevin Feige. What's his name? Bob. I got it on the tip of my tongue.
Bob Popchek, Disney CEO.
Disney CEO Bob Popchek. Make sure you guys write emails. You know what I mean? Make sure you tweet this. recast T'Challa or else, make sure you tag him on all the platforms you can think of, because they got to know. Just because they give it to us don't mean we got to accept it.
Absolutely.
Everybody else's voice is heard. For some reason, they want to turn a deaf ear to ours. It's unacceptable, and we do have some say-so. Theo, I ain't going to hold you up. Thank you for coming through today. I want everybody to go over to, I'm just saying, hit them with it real fast. I want everybody to go over to Theo's channel.
Hey, it's IAS, so I ain't saying, I'm just saying with TOB. Come by, holler, and visit, and Gab, bro, it's always a pleasure to talk to you, brother. Always a pleasure.
Hey, man. Words move mountains, bro. Let's go.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Peace.